Erev Tov. It's the first time for me to be in the United States of America. And so I'm so honored and privileged to be here with you tonight. You see, one of the problems that I've faced in America, I find it very hard to find Pokemons. I was born by a loving father and mother. They were born and raised in Darfur with their families. When I was 5 years old, I was taught the importance of education and community work. Our society is broken, they said, and it has to be fixed. When I turned 6, my parents began sending me away, sometimes with relatives and family members, and sometimes even with strangers. I thought they didn't like me. I could not have been more wrong. It wasn't until 2003, while I was studying for my undergraduate degree in Khartoum, I truly understood the depth of their love for me. Our village, named the Banaira in North Darfur State, was attacked by Janjaweed. It's a militia recruited by Sudanese regime to wipe out African ethnic groups, take our lands, and obliterate our African identity. I wasn't at home that day because my parents sent me away. That day, tens of people were murdered. Houses were burned down. Trees were cut. Even water sources were poisoned. And the village was reduced to ashes. My parents fled to live in the Abu Shok displacement persons camp. This is in North Darfur. I could never return home. I have never seen my family since that day. While I was a student activist in Khartoum, I was put several times in a solitary confinement. And after I graduated from the school, I had two choices: to remain silent and close my eyes to what is happening in Darfur, or go back home, pick up a weapon, and fight. Neither of these choices is who I am. I had to seek asylum to be a voice for my people. You see, a lot of people ask, why Israel? It's true that in our schools in Sudan, we have never taught or learned anything positive about Israel. We heard hatred and war. And it's also true that most of us are Muslims and speak Arabic. When genocide began in Darfur in 2003, hardly anyone from around the world was there to advocate for us. A voice that we heard clearly was from American Jews and Jews around the world. Jews have taken synagogues, Jewish youth movements took part in intensive campaigns, such as Save Darfur campaign. We, as Darfurians, we heard that, we were following that. It was so moving to all of us. Jews have experienced mass murder and worse, on one of the unspeakable human tragedy. From this raises a commitment to prevent and combat any genocide from happening ever again. All of this together made me believe that the Jewish state would be a safe place for me. I took every risk possible to make it to a place where I am today. I arrived to Israel in 2009. I was put in a prison for 4.5 months. I was released with the bus ticket to Tel Aviv. I didn't have friends or family. And then I left I was released in Central Bus Station. I couldn't get out of Central Bus Station. My dream was to get out of Central Bus Station. And then I was given a 3-month visa by the Ministry of Interior. But they wouldn't allow me to apply for asylum. But after years of attempts and advocacy, I was finally able to submit the application for the refugee status in 2012. Remembering my father's lessons, I engaged in community service. The challenges are great, and the need of the community for support is high, and the possibility to make change almost impossible. My community and I engaged in organizing the community, reaching out to Israeli people and the decision makers. We protested for our rights. We became more visible, but there was no word for my asylum claim and many, many others. In 2014, I was sent to Holot detention facility. Holot is located in the Negev, in the Negev desert in south of Israel. It is designed to break our spirits, to serve as deterrence by preventing other asylum seekers from coming to Israel. As of today, there are about 3,360 African asylum seekers held arbitrarily in detention for no other reason other than seeking safety from genocide, murder, and torture. You see, it's difficult to arrive to a country with so much hope, only to be labeled as a demographic threat. Some argue that African asylum seekers pose threat to Israel's social fabric and security. African asylum seekers, like so many others, came to Israel seeking safety from terrible atrocities. We had no choice but to escape. We came to Israel to contribute to Israel's society. We are an asset, not a threat. Asylum seekers from Africa are more than anyone else appreciate the opportunities that we are given in Israel. The fact that I can speak out loudly and freely without fear of arrest is something I praise and value. I truly appreciate the fact that I'm not handcuffed and sent back to my home country. I use this precious opportunity to do my part to make Israel's society better because I'm part of it. I'm a part of Israel's society. This summer, 2 months ago, after years of detention, protest, and advocacy, I was given a refugee status. And I would like to thank the hotline for refugees and migrants, and my dear friend, my lawyer, Asaf Weitzen. I would like also to extend my thanks to my colleague at African Refugee Development Center, ARDC, and my entire community for being with me all the way. I also want to thank the New Israel Fund and Linda and Sandy Glanta, and all of you for helping me take one more step toward the vision and the choice I made back home. The Glanta Prize will truly change my life. It will help me finish my degree in public international law. I'm proud to say that I'm a second-year law student at the College of Law and Business in Ramat Gan. This would not have happened if it wasn't for people like you. Thank you. You see, the founding fathers of Madinat Israel proclaimed in the Declaration of Independence that the state of Israel will be based on freedom, justice, and peace, as envisaged by the prophets of Israel. It will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. These are values we all cherish. When I left Sudan, I made a commitment that I do whatever I could to speak for my people. But now, my contribution expands beyond those borders to Israel and Israeli society. As a law student and as the first officially recognized Sudanese refugee, I will continue advocate to revive those values, to build a society that we will all be proud of. Thank you, everybody. I love you all. Thank you.